just give up. Just shut it down and go to bed. Come on now, you're killing me. I fought demons and dragons and balrogs, and you're the one killing me. Let's call it a night, Shane. I'm serious now. Don't make me... Listen, let me put it to you like this. You're out of ammo. Where did your health go? You'll never get far without a life bar. Don't fight them, just flee. Clearly you're sleepy. You could be snoozing instead of losing. No more dying. Please stop trying. You need skill, Shane, and you haven't got any. If gaming skills were money, then you wouldn't have a penny. You need luck, Shane, but you're flat out of that. Here comes another pitfall, and there you go, splat. I'm not surprised to see you lying there dead. I think the headshot was invented when you stuck out your head. Is there a button broke? Is this as slow as you can race? Out of only 7 racers, you're in 47th place. You must be lost now. Where's that other puzzle piece? You've been down this fucking corridor a dozen times at least. Is this Lemmings? Because you just ran off a cliff and your stupid face was priceless. I hope someone makes a gif. Game over, Shane. It's game over, Shane. That's right. Game over, Shane. Go to bed. Game over, Shane. My name is Wally, I'm a wizard, and you know I've been around. So don't be talking shit or I'ma have to put you down. I've got a magic wand, and I rock it like a mace, and then I'll hop onto my dragon and we'll torch the whole place. I'm an old boss, so they shower me with riches. I got magic in these fingers, just ask my 20 bitches. Game over, Shane. It's game over, Shane. Turn the power off.
Boys and girls, today is a very special day because today we have the second day of the dearest, sweet Betty White bracket here for Bush League. I am Cat Peach. I am here with Bahamut. Bahamut, how are you?
I am doing wonderful. Super excited to be casting some Bush League with you this evening, and we're going to be getting more of that Betty White bracket. And The Betty White bracket. It's been so good to us so far. We had a phenomenal series that I do believe went to in the best of 3, going to 3 games. And now we're going to be having this nice little matchup between Team Revolt and Extra Cheese.
Yeah, who are legitimately straight up fucking tied for 6th right now.
Oh.
So, like, they're literally dead even, and Yelly just being like, well, they beat us, so I guess they should be treated as top seed, when I would have been like, yo, it's even. Here's a bribe. But,
Like,
to each their own.
Like, they could have legitimately just been like, no, we totally beat them like this one time in this one scrim, so that's technically on. Like, nah, this is Bush League. Like, you gotta lie your way to the top, and of course play some awesome games, but mostly lying.
Mostly lying is really par for the course here. All right, let's get to this. So we actually have bans and stuff going on for this. So Team Revolt chose first pick for game number 1. Extra Cheese banned out Team of the Spider Queen, Revolt banning out Brax's Holdout, and Extra Cheese taking us to Battlefield of Eternity for game number 1 here, which should be a very good time, Bahamut.
I like Battlefield of Eternity because we often see really good team fighting utility and heroes, but we also see some unique picks, much like Hanzo, Lunara. Vala has made quite the reprise. Also,
Yo, she has! I know, it's so good! Both Greyman and Vala kind of coming back because everyone was like, well, it's Hanzo, or like, you don't have race, and they kind of gave up, I feel like.
Right.
But
It was weird. It's like we forgot that we used to have 2 hard carry heroes, and they really didn't get touched much. Like, Greymane, yes, saw some adjustments, and everyone was like, he's dead, but then we saw him being played for months afterwards, and then we got Maiev, so that kind of pushed Greymane away, and then we had Race, and we're like, well, it's just Hanzo. So it definitely is one of those things like, yeah, no, Vala getting reprise here, also with the and that's it exactly.
There it is!
Ban out the Vala, because you don't want to deal with that Hungering Arrow build, and potentially the burst from her is really strong, especially with a Tassadar or even an Ariel.
Kerrigan getting banned out. The literal carry also being removed here.
I'm not gonna lie, I played a Kerrigan match before we casted together, and I have not gotten to play much of her, and there was no tank on the enemy team. I bodied some fools with her.
Well, I mean, Kerrigan's a tank, so like you're the tank and no one has it. You see the instant Hanzo pickup for Revolt. White and Artanis. So we're talking about chunking. Artanis actually does a pretty good job against Immortals. So I like the pickup there. Definitely not as fast as the Hanzo, but if you have everyone else kind of harassing that Hanzo a bit, or Hanzo's dead, then Artanis can do a rattle job.
Swaps are a phenomenal tool for the team as well, and we actually get a Tyrande for the damage buff and Diablo to follow right behind that. This is terrifying. I really like the draft of Team Revolt, but Extra Cheese, they've got this ban phase where they can knock out maybe a solo laner that's strong into Artanis. Actually, maybe banning out like a Malthea would be kind of strong.
That would be good. I want Extra Cheese very much so to get Sergeant Hammer. Because, I don't know, I feel like every time I mention it, it never happens, so maybe I'm the only one that thinks this, that Hammer and Artanis, specifically on, like, something like Battlefield, just would work really well together. But, I don't know, maybe I'm just fucking crazy, because it never happens! Never happens.
I think what happens is you get into that whole argument. It's just like, oh, well, yeah, you can pick Artanis, but then you could pick up Urel, who's stronger at zoning, around a Hammer with her Righteous Hammer, because it's more, it's easier, it's a lower cooldown, and also you have a wider swipe with it, and it's a more confirmed deny of approach. But at the same time, that is going to get banned out, and Artanis does have some sick swaps, and you don't have to disengage from every fight. You could just win them all with a Sergeant Hammer. So realistically, they could go into that Hammer, and I do believe also with BOE being a kind of point control-ish or fight under a point, it's lining up for it. Like, it is absolutely lining up for the Hammer right here.
Sorry,
100%.
I was totally thinking, like, still with the Hammer in mind, like, we better get the Jaina as well, because if you have Artanis swap with the Jaina slows, that also keep that in. That is just excellent. So now that we have the double warrior, we have a bit of the damage with the Jaina there. I feel like this is all setting up a very pretty picture for Hammer, or at least someone else that's going to help Jaina and enable her damage and really get her stacked up.
Phoenix?
Thrall, Li Ming.
I was like,
all right.
I was thinking that like maybe they solo lane with their Phoenix, and then they have the Purification Salvo with the Earthquake and the Lightning Breath from Diablo, and they have some setup with the Hanzo arrow, but I don't know, Li Ming at this point, like that makes me worry about a hammer because while you can body some of that
sitting target.
Sitting target, like I mean, if you looked at the open division, I think it was. Yeah, that's the burn. That's double burn with our so literally, I actually really like the draft of Extra Cheese here because the fact that they can put Artanis onto the Immortal, and then have the rest of the team, you know, zone, or do vice versa, have the rest of the team zone with the Artanis, and then have Greymane solo burn this. I think Extra Cheese is a phenomenal draft, but the team fight coming out from Team Revolt is kind of scary.
Yeah, I feel like that Tyrande pickup. I mean, there's if Tyrande can land the Lunar Flares, there's a lot of excellent follow up, and also you just have the Wolf coming out from Thrall as well for some of that lockdown to set up for Li Ming or even for Diablo. So at least there's a lot of stuns available for them that easily either her or Hanzo can follow up on, and so if those are on point, then things look very dangerous for Greymane going into deep, or even a Nubarak. A Nubarak isn't the beefiest of frontliners, and so I think there's a lot of targets for those stuns on the side of Revolt, so there's just going to have to be a lot of careful positioning, a lot of good support coming out from that white main if they get into those tricky positions.
I think the big thing is going to be that dive. Can they get the single target dive onto a backline hero? Because their backline is super squishy. If they can supersede the Diablo, that's going to be a heyday for Extra Cheese.
Yeah, and it's going to have to be either pick off the Hanzo or pick off the Tyrande. And I would really like to see them pick off the Tyrande first of all, before anyone else here. Just because that's such a OP pickoff, you know?
Oh, absolutely. But I guess we're going to be going into this. On the left-hand side, we're going to be having Team Revolt with NRG going to be on that Thrall, Gunslinger going to be on the Diablo, Spare Shadow going to be on the Tyrande, Pizza on the Hanzo, and rounding out the team with Vex Zero going to be on the Li Ming.
And on the right in red, we are going to have Extra Cheese. We have Sulfate on that Artanis. We are going to see Old Backpack on a Nubarak, Drunken Donut on the Jaina. Down to the bottom, we're going to have Yelly on the Greymane and Rosini on the white main.
And at this point, we are going to be having just a small little poke between Old Backpack and Gunslinger, but this is going to be our solo lane with the Thrall on the top with that Echo of the Elements. I'm curious to see how that will shape up into that Artanis, and actually it looks like they've got a little bit of a brawl breaking out between the two of them already.
I mean, Artanis got shields and Thrall got none, so even though the sustain's there, I just feel like Artanis might actually have a slight upper hand, at least until maybe Echo of the Elements is completed on the side of Thrall.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, Fringe was pointing out how much vodka that I apparently have in my glass. And it's
I didn't show off my giant wine glass of whiskey. I have disappointed all of that bushly. We're not party animals over here like those party animals over in Chuck Norris bracket. We are respectful and drink nice things.
Oh, did they do like a case race during their cast?
Oh, did you not see? Goon was just like chugging Kraken, and Soken had this beautiful bandana like jean jacket motif going on. It was quite gnarly, if you ask me. Bunch of hooligans over there.
It's that is the way to do it. Like I was just like, how can we either like suit up our cast or can we just make it super trashy? But unfortunately, it is 1,000.
Both options fail.
Both options failed. But we are going to get back into this match. Yeah, we do have bottom lane being held over fairly well by Extra Cheese, and that top lane matchup seems like it's going fairly even between the two.
I kind of would almost like if Jaina maybe came up and helped the Artanis a bit, because so far, I mean, Sulfate's been hitting a few of these swaps, and I mean, one, you get that Fingers of Frost pick up on level 1 for Jaina completed faster if she's going up and rotating and getting those regen globes, but also being able to get the pick on Thrall would be absolutely huge in the early game. But for now, focusing on the bottom, Siege Camp gonna try to push into the spot lane, counteract some of that pressure. Old Backpack though got flip, burrows away, taking a bit of damage there.
A lot of great poke damage coming out from Pizza at this point, making sure they're getting a lot of those simple geometry arrows, the scatter arrows on to a lot of the heroes, as well as just working up those questing talent. That's 13 out of the 20 necessary, and we're only 2 minutes and 40 seconds in, as we will have the first Immortal popping up fairly soon here. But overall, I mean, these lanes are going to be evenly contested. No real big experience value in anyone's favor, as Artanis will be coming down to help Yelly in this camp. Not really going to be losing too much soak in top lane.
Yeah, not losing too much soak this early on. I like the timing of them grabbing that camp. The camp was already grabbed on the side of Team Revolt, so they don't have that pressure during the Immortal phase. So at least that camp will be causing some problems up top. The Lunar Flare hitting too. Yelly taking a lot of that damage though, and Energy going in, trying to finish off Greymane. Gonna walk away for the time being like a boss.
Pizza getting out with under 20 health. Drunken Donuts wasn't sure if they could step up or not, as it looks like that will be the Diablo falling here. First kill of the game is going to be going over to the members of Xtra Cheese as they're looking for Vex Zero, but Spare Shadow was so low, as well as Pizza, and this will be the first phase in favor for the members of Team Revolt, and they need to burn this down quickly, as it looks like Hanzo is going to be starting to come down here, but they don't have that cooldown reduction just yet.
And not just yet, but at least they can see Hanzo right now alone. Everyone else trying to clear that top camp. Diablo just spawning as well. So I felt like if had Xtra Cheese just defended, expecting that Hanzo to show up, maybe they could have gotten a pick, but they are erasing that Immortal super fast, so they are absolutely getting value. And Nubarak, though, falling from the collapse after that camp up top cleared out. So the bug is not available for a little while longer. There's a little bit of a shield here for Xtra Cheese, though, but I don't think they're going to get too much from the Immortal. I think Revolt's got the tools to clear that out fast, especially with such a low shield.
It really depends on if they can get a pick. That's where I feel like a lot of these teams either gain or lose value. If they get picked, then obviously they lose a ton, and they don't really get much more than the front gate, if even that. But if they can get a pick themselves, maybe onto Pizza, who's getting chunked quite a bit, maybe they can move past to get the well, open up the fort a little bit more. But just, you know, any sort of pressure they can get beyond the gate is huge for them. But it looks like the Immortal does fall. They're going to step up a little bit further as they do get the Lunar Flare and the Yelly, but Cat Peach, they might be getting more than just that.
Yelly, more like turned into jelly by Gunslinger over there, just slamming that puppy dog into the ground. Killing it off real good there. And it looked like for a little bit Xtra Cheese they had stepped up into the Immortal range when the stun was about to come out, and it almost looked like they were going to try for a pick of their own, but the quick turnaround from Revolt costing them their main tank there.
That's a nice pick for them. Stalling that out, not allowing them to have that extra body liner pressure is really big. And we go ahead and get back into our laning phase. They have swapped over. Bottom lane is now top, and top is now bottom, as no Lunar Flare connection into these lanes. But the camp will be cleared out fairly even, and I think we're just going to kind of have this posturing between the two until we have our next Immortal phase, which should be popping up right around the 7-minute mark, if I'm not mistaken.
And both these teams are still remaining fairly even. 2 kills to 1. Neither really has too much of an experience lead on the other. It's just like less than half a level in favor of Revolt right now. I mean, as we were saying, Gunslinger gets the charge against the wall into Sulfate. Old backpack, though, with the dive and the stun.
That is a nice big old burrow as they want to move forward on this, but they're getting
Drunken!
But they get the kill on Diablo. Drunken Donut in a bit of a bad spot. Make it out just fine with the healing from Whitemane.
Woo, Drunken Donut with the last-ditch kill onto Diablo. I love it. So one thing about Jaina is just like you kind of creep in a little bit more, and then you're just like, kabam. Camp
if they're
invade?
watching stream, they need to know that they need to be backing off from this camp, because there is an entire team that's right on the other side of the wall. An old backpack, if they get that dive and locked on the Pizza, that could be the demise of a Hanzo. Maybe they're just waiting for that posture to burrow in, but this is a 1v5 if they decide to do so. To go ahead and let the camp go over, but that will be the halfway mark for these Immortals as well, Cat Peach.
Yeah, it would have
go straight for the burn.
It would have been really tempting to go and invade that camp, but to lose out on Immortal at this point, when it could potentially grant you a lot, grant you level 10 if the fight goes right, deciding to focus on it. I like the call. Energy, though. Focus of old backpack's burrow. Yelly's taking a bit of damage, ends up stealthing away for a bit, but NRG trying to find any target possible there. And this fight is kind of spreading all over the place with members going top and to the right here. Vex getting chased down. The Lunar Flare stops Artanis for the time being. On top is going to back away. No one falling. A lot of tickling, not so much killing there from any of the teams. But I don't know if Xtra Cheese gets this.
Well, actually, no. They're going for the kills here. Not even going for the Immortal, as it looks like Hanzo gets that. No, they go ahead and get it here. All of Hanzo's work was in vain? No.
No,
I got a back run.
Revolt
I got a back run.
gets it.
Oh my god.
If Extra Cheese doesn't get a fucking kill here, though, it's like they get the kill on the Gunslinger here, so worth giving up for the time being. But Drunken Donut is really low, still going in, trying to get the damage, barely missing the orb from Li Ming too.
They definitely could have finished out that Immortal, but unfortunately the Atanus was not focused in on the objective and morally going for kills. They are trying to push in with this as Sulfate is taking a ton of damage, needs to back out. But this Immortal will only get the amount of push value as their own did.
Yeah, thankfully being pretty even in that regard. 10 about to hit for Revolt though, so I felt like if they wanted to stick around longer, they could once that experience hits and kind of try to dive in, get a really fast pick. But I guess with the very close follow-up to 10s for Extra Cheese, playing it safe, not going too deep in. This is very risky for Extra Cheese. If they don't hit 10 while trying to get this camp, this goes very wrong for them.
It's really interesting to me with the poke that comes out from Thrall, the poke that comes out from Li Ming, all of that, not to take Nubarian Armor at level 1. To be going ahead and taking Regeneration Master for the extra health pool, which is usually more auto-attack based, but we have a ton of damage going out to Gunslinger as they have locked down so many members. That is Drunken Donut so low once again. The Hanzo will confirm the kill with the Dragon Arrow, but I think they're able to chase Gunslinger here, who still doesn't have enough souls. Will be losing the Diablo. Cocoon did go out on that Hanzo as they are looking for spare Shadow. Not going to be happening, but Hanzo just kind of sitting here. Old Backpack might be picked off. Cat Peach.
Old Backpack trying to do what they can with such low health. Gets the stun onto Spare Shadow. The swap coming out from Artanis, though. The stun to peel just a bit. Tyrande peeling for herself, ladies and gentlemen, because no man will do it for her.
Meanwhile, bottom lane, Thrall's just getting a camp, pushing in, getting free value. They're leaving NRG alone for so long here, and it's really starting to hurt them quite a bit on the side of Extra Cheese.
Yeah, I mean, that's the most damage done to any fort so far this game. And, I mean, Jaina at least has the advantage of range, but what I don't like is that she didn't pick the reset on the Ice Lance when you hit a frozen target, so she can't even have as much of a good poke against someone in melee range like Thrall, and I just felt like that would have been such a better pick here for that Jaina, especially around these Immortals, to just kind of get that poke damage in and really whittle down their opponents as time goes on. But we're gonna have to see Extra Cheese. Do they get this Immortal for themselves, or can Revolt get 2 in a row here?
We'll see here. We are going to be having the blind come out from Artanis. No one's stepping up at this point. We are going to be having Gunslinger away from the team. The Cocoon did go out onto Li Ming, and that is going to be Jaina jumping damage. They'll go ahead and get the blink out, but in the meanwhile, Gunslinger's so low. Hanzo going to get the Dragon Arrow out of the backline. Yelly falling so low to NRG, needs to back out, but Capeach Gunslinger is rotating around, maybe looking for an angle as Jaina has just fallen.
Rosini keeping the Grey Mane alive, but Jaina still not going to be able to contribute here. And I feel like this is really dangerous for Extra Cheese to keep pushing, but they end up getting the kill on Thrall. Gunslinger charging in, but going to fall as well. And now the collapse onto Pizza, but not before Whitemane ends up falling. Pizza actually gets the style points, but then loses them all immediately, scattering all over the ground. And this should be a lot of damage in favor of Extra Cheese onto that Immortal, as Tyrande and Li Ming are the only two that can possibly do anything with a lot of the damage that comes out from that Grey Mane, but Yelly's gonna have to back soon.
Yeah, Yelly actually has no mana, no health, and Vex Zero going to be using the Disintegration just to kind of zone them away here. Just leaving Old Backpack to finish this out. They're able to do it fairly well as they're able to use Drunken Donut's Ice Lance to confirm that last little bit of damage, get the halftime show. But everyone's awake and everyone's available, and 13s are right on the precipice, but I think we just got a race.
Yeah, it's race time. Or not. Team Revolt just saying, well, we're not gonna.
Hanzo, they can't do it. Like, Hanzo is in the later half of the game, and as you can see, just chunking through. Step up.
That's true. Extra Cheese trying to find the position to engage in a fight. Can't really just sit here and defend. They got to go in onto the Hanzo, and they are starting to position. Sulfate, can he get the swap in? Swap a little bit onto Pizza there. Suppression pulse coming out. APOC going to follow up. Hanzo trying to get away. The Disintegrate coming out from Li Ming. The Cocoon to shut that down. But Earthquake is keeping everyone here so slowed, but Gunslinger going to take a ton of damage, and Sulfate going to give up on that kill. But the distraction is there away from the Immortal for the time being. And Extra Cheese going in to continue the fight.
NRG is going to be the one to fall right there, and Vex Zero is targeted by Sulfate. Not happening just yet, but they need to make sure they zone around their Immortal, because Pizza will get these scatter arrows in, and also you have Li Ming poking in as well. Meanwhile, they do leave Artanis onto the point. Gunslinger so low, will be getting picked off here. No souls to bring them back to life as they have the dive in from Anubrak. That won't pick up any more kills, but they zone them off far enough. Meanwhile, Artanis is able to finish this out with that level 1 amateur opponent, and that allows them to have that extra damage. So they're able to put the one person on this. Maybe they even go for their opposing side camp. The Diablo isn't up for another 8 seconds.
Yeah, there's a little bit of an advantage there. Drunken Donut trying to get the slows onto Energy and Spare Shadow, who are kind of on the chase of this Jaina, who's a little bit isolated, but Drunken Donut going to escape from the situation just fine here. Immortal heading bottom. I wonder if Artanis is going to maybe rotate top and try to push out top lane a bit more, but it looks like the team coming down, staying together, maybe trying to get a massive push here, try to claim the first structure of this game, but that's barely a shield, and again, I think we're just going to lose a gate and not too much else here.
That's pretty much what I think we're going to be seeing as well. They have a lot of great defenses. Hanzo, as long as they're getting the scatter arrows off, they're going to be getting some decent chunking here. But this is a stronger Immortal as they want to step up even further. That is going to be the one coming out as well. There's the Cocoon onto the Li Ming. Apocalypse has come up from the Diablo. They are going to be getting a stun onto the Nubrak at this time. That is also the Earthquake. Immortal has fallen in the backline, but Capeach, they're not able to get any picks just yet.
Not yet, but the Scarlet Aegis keeping folks alive to continue the fight. Hanzo going to get picked off here. The Immortal has fallen. The fort did fall as well, so getting more than either of us really thought here. And that was pretty good for Extra Cheese. They look pretty low. They rotate up, try to get this camp away from their opponents. They don't have the Hanzo to do that scatter damage with that scatter arrow, but the flip on the old backpack. Anubrak gets the stun as well. Should burrow out of here, and does. Disintegrate going to be used. No kills capitalized, but a great camp steal on their part.
That is a nice pickup for them that allows them just to have a little bit more pressure and has that also availability to start forcing enemy rotations. Now you're going to be seeing them. You can see it on the minimap right now. 3 are currently coming down to this camp. They're going to need to clear bottom wave. They can now rotate off into top or into that mid position for the Bruisers. It will be a little early for them, but they can continue to pressure this out and hold their advantage while they're letting these lanes kind of even out. But actually, no, we have a bit of a brawl, maybe potentially breaking out in bottom.
Looks like
they're posturing for it.
Extra Cheese trying to see if they can maybe collapse on the cleanup. Revolt doesn't bite.
Nope, not yet.
Womp womp. They tried. The effort was there.
The effort was definitely there. Jaina gonna start their camp on the right-hand side, and that will be top lane starting to get pressured by a few of the members of Team Revolt going into this 4th Immortal.
I just noticed that Extra Cheese up a level here, getting really close to 16. Maybe that's why Team Revolt's so afraid of that engagement, not wanting to feed into that 16, trying to catch up in the experience himself, but Gunslinger getting the flip and the Disintegrate onto the Greymane. Old Backpack still stunned, and that is 2 picked off here, Bahamut.
Talk about a stun root chain CC. Oh my god, did they not move there for quite some time? I'm sure they were just on comms just screaming like, I'm moving, I'm clicking, I'm trying, but I can't because there's just so much going into them. They burned down the entire Immortal very quickly, but Capeach, there's top lane pressure that needs to be cleared out as well as bottom lane pressure. While they will have the Hanzo being able to finish this out, that is going to be their lanes fairly far pushed forward for them. And it actually kind of allows them for that 16 talent tier, closing that gap a lot quicker.
Yeah, they're going to have a pretty decent shield on this Immortal as well, so, I mean, that's something to the advantage of Team Revolt and gives, I guess, when you're trying to trade off against do we push with the Immortal or do we try to clean up, at least with that higher shield, it's not super high, but it's the highest we've seen so far this game, at least that Immortal will survive by itself a little bit longer, but the stun going out into Soul Fate, Artanis trying to escape there, but the Luna Flare confirming that kill there. But you're right, there's a lot to clean up on the side of Team Revolt. They got that camp, so they're not even pushing with it. They're trying to fight.
Goes out. Gunslinger taking a lot of damage here, and they need to get some healing onto them. That another burrow comes out from old Backpack.
Oh, Yelly.
But Yelly's so low. Yelly getting, oh my god, the Dragon Arrow. The Li Ming didn't even get the extra hit. It just went right by as Tyrande stole the kill. Support's just, they're the worst kill stealers. As the Immortal has worked its way through this top lane fort and moves on to the top lane keep, they'll do the same thing in bottom lane.
Yeah, and that Immortal's still pretty healthy. The split pressure coming out from Revolt, clearing up this bottom gate, or at least starting to do some damage to it, as that top gate seemingly just mostly disintegrating. from that Immortal here.
And we're talking 17 minutes into this game. This thing hits pretty hard, and the next one after this is going to be, I wouldn't say game-ending, but it really is going to have a big siege potential, as this was left by itself with about a half a shield, and it went through a fort and half a keep. That's a lot of value here as we get into this later half, but camp's going to be picked up, rotation's going back out, and 20s are the objective for both these teams, but it should be achieved by the members of Team Revolt a little bit faster.
Ever so slightly, a little bit faster. Only one camp on the map right now is that top one. No one really rotating up to get it just yet, but it looks like Revolt might have their eyes on it, knowing that Extra Cheese showing in the bottom, clearing up that camp, and I don't think the rotation is fast enough for Cheese to really defend against there.
No, it looks like they're playing a little scared. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah,
they're teetering.
Scared. well, it looks like honestly, Team Revolt is actually looking to set up for an engage in this rotation. They've left that one camp up. They're kind of baiting this. They're showing Hanzo a little bit in lane. This is they're waiting for this old backpack. All by themselves. Both these teams are just playing this so.
Oh, but the other three are
so
far down. They're staying bot. They're waiting for the rotation bottom?
This is you can't Artana swap into bottom lane. I hope they know that. Like, it's not
that would be the goddess of tier swaps just through the lane.
Would it have to be like swap into Garrosh Toss into Junkrat Mine into Massive, or you could just Massive Shove. Probably.
Here's the thing, if I were Extra Cheese, I would think they just grab that top camp. They're going for the Bruiser camp like they are and try to set up a trap around there instead of waiting so far away. And it looks like they're trying to sneak in, but they're not going to be able to disrupt the camp, so they're just going to fight on the Immortal.
This is some slow play. It looks like no team really wants to give over that first game, but Vex Zero is going to get swapped over here, separated from the team. There's going to be a Cocoon going out onto the Tyrande, the backline. This team is getting shredded here, getting split apart. Vex Zero doesn't make it out, but Spare Shadow does not. That's all they're feeling gone. Diablo does get the Apocalypse out, but Cat Peach Energy is all by themselves.
The Starfall onto Old Backpack does so much damage, but Thrall, not meant for this world, is going to fall, and Pizza gets chased down, trying to get the wall leap there, but literally mid-air just snuffed out.
Ouch.
Ouch.
So hard ouch.
It hurts to die on the ground, but getting killed in the air must have, like, double hurt, you know?
Especially when it's a giant, like, needle type thing that's coming out from a bug type creature, which I like what Old Backpack's doing, and is trying to just, body some of this damage so they can get a bigger shield.
Someone's got to clear top. Someone's got to clear top.
That too. Absolutely.
Real bad.
They're not able to body that damage. They really can't. Like, they don't have the Nubarian armor. The spell armor was way too much against the Li Ming. Now Yeli's by themselves, and the rest of the team is kind of coming back. They could turn on Yeli easy.
Yeli, I would like you to leave right now. Yeli gonna back up finally. Gunslinger keeping an eye out for who might be trying to chunk down that Immortal. Li Ming starting to get some damage on the opposing one, though. But it still looks like Revolt in the losing side of things as 4v3, and then an Old Backpack trying to distract from the damage. Probably going to give his life here yet again. Ends up getting the Burrow out, but it distracted the rest of Revolt from attacking the Immortal. So, great strats. Not dying this time around. As someone in Twitch chat pointed out earlier, Old Backpack giving his dear sweet life. This fort, though, has no more life to give.
It just PSA, Khazra camps, I think. Or the Bruiser camp, when left alone, can absolutely destroy your forts and keep. So don't ever let it, do that, because it's currently pushing onto core, and that's a little worrisome. We'll have to keep an eye on that, as this top lane is going to be losing.
This fort is guaranteed. I don't think they get anything more than this. Someone's got to go back. I think the camp is cleared out. The shields are barely there, and with the lack of keep, that's catapult pressure going to start building up. So unless Extra Cheese thinks they can, like, clear a keep here, this is real risky. They might be able to.
That is going to be the Apocalypse coming out. That is also going to be Artanis, the first one to fall in this fight. That is a reset for Li Ming. White Mane will be going down as well. Old Backpack should be following next. The Immortal, though, while the entire team is going to get bodied, Li Ming will be going down, but the Immortal will confirm the keep. Drunken Donut going to be falling as well.
Yeah, you get the keep. You get the keep, but you're down 5. Like, yikes.
They got Wolf Boy.
They got Wolf Boy. It's A-okay here for them.
You got okay clear. It's not like they can just backdoor the entire game with 20. Oh wait. Oh Yelly. Oh Yelly. No.
Oh Yelly gets the stealth dodge out of here, but everyone from Revolt coming in, doing damage to the core. We still have 15 seconds until White Mane, 10 seconds for Artanis. But right now, it's just Yelly trying to get the kill onto Gunslinger. It's almost there, but the shields, the spell shields, keeping him alive, but the damage finally there. 95% on the core. Energy trying to be that frontline now. Sulfate trying to get the swap. Revolt on the retreat. They defended it. Oh my goodness.
For now, as Diablo has come back, and I was saying that I was thinking they were running straight to the fight, but no, they actually turned around. Because I was about to say, ooh, we got ourselves, maybe they go in for it anyways. But no, Diablo's going to be looking for some more souls in this later half of the game. That is a Diablo who just falled. You don't want them going right back into a fight with 0 souls because they are useless, honestly. They get absolutely shredded in these late game fights like that. So it's smart. They get the clear into top. They don't allow the catapult pressure to amount too hard. But bottom lane now has this camp pressure in there as well. And looks like they'll be picking up the Bruiser camp on the side of Team Revolt and Cat Peach. I think this is the do or die part of BOE. It's whoever really falls here or really doesn't manage their lanes is really in checkmate.
Yeah, and I agree with Super Dave in chat. Whoever gets this Immortal wins this game. Like, no doubt about it, save for like a throw. If you throw hard here, and the damage coming out already from Team Revolt onto this Immortal, showing that they already have the upper hand here. Jaina finally returning. That camp being left alone in the bottom lane in hopes that Xtra Cheese can make up the damage here and maybe claim this Immortal.
They're gonna step up onto this. They need to make sure that they defend this. Every heroic is up cooldown. Swap goes out, does not connect onto Spare Shadow, just a couple pixels away, but the red core and the blue core are currently having camps approaching them, and they're doing this posturing. Li Ming is back at this time. They do see that is happening. They are going to rotate off and maybe go for a pick, or they just go for the clear onto their own Immortal, which looks like they also send someone back.
Yeah, Yelly's going to go back, try to defend. There's a couple people showing back on Team Revolt, so Yelly going in for the damage on the Immortal, trying to catch up in the race. This is so tense. Baha Gunslinger going in onto old backpack though, gets the flip.
I don't know where to look.
Those catapults still going on the core on both teams. Actually, just kidding. I was looking at the Immortal health bars. Who's gonna win? Just barely. Just barely. Xtra Cheese has it. They gotta go back. They gotta clear. They've gotta save the core before they can even think about pushing this. Luckily, they also have catapult pressure building up in that top lane. This might actually go on for another round. Oh no! Oh no!
There's no Anubarak. They don't have the tank. They've got catapult pressure there.
This is true.
This is really risky. Gunslinger so low. There's going to be the blind coming out as well. That is also going to be Li Ming just trying to dump damage as quickly as they can onto this core. It is below. Oh my god, Li Ming is going to be falling first in this situation. Drunken Donut's a little bit low as well. Pizza making.
Pizza is choking!
Oh my god, Pizza might be able to be the one who does this as they're getting so much damage out of them. They get the kill onto the Hanzo. They get the kill onto the throne. They're gonna get...
No! Gunslinger left alive here! And in such a close call. Game number 1 going over to Team Revolt, but just barely here, folks. Like, holy butts.
You never expect the Diablo to get that 1%. You never expect it.
No.
It's just...
You never expect the Diablo Inquisition, like... It just kind of comes in and happens. Pretty even on kills in that game, 14 and 19. That was a very... I mean, both these teams showing that they're super balanced. We were talking about they're literally tied in the standings, and I think that was just the exemplary display of why they are even.
Oh yeah, that was a phenomenal game between two extremely well-matched teams, and I cannot wait to get into our second match. Let me actually get a DM out to, I believe it's going to be Yelly,
yeah,
and then figure out where they want to go for what you want.
Yeah, first pick or map pick. Let's see. I mean, if I'm Xtra Cheese, I don't know. Is it worth map pick or do you want first pick?
So this is actually a conversation that I had with a team before, and I asked them, I was like, in what situation do you want it? They want map pick. What map? You get into the situation where you're like, all right, all we need is like if we get on this map, we'll win. And it looks like they're just like, all right, yeah, if we go to shrines, we're just gonna win this game. So it's a Diablo themed night, Cat Peach.
Are we going to Infernal Shrines?
We are gonna be going into Infernal Shrines for our second game here.
I love this choice. All right, so Team Revolt again getting first pick in this game. Let's get this lobby set up. Infernal Shrines. I feel like based on how Battlefield of Eternity went, like this is going to be extra special. I just feel it in my bones, in my old people bones.
Well, it's Infernal Shrines, and I'm curious to see if we see the Kerrigan come through, and if we don't see the Kerrigan come through, what is going to be the play around this map? Because Infernal Shrines, I mean, you can play the super divey, super team fighty with Maiev and Warden's Cage, and Warlord's Challenge with Garrosh, or even Taunt with Varian. So there's a lot of great lockdown and team fight over these points, and that's what I'm super excited about. But the other thing too is we get into that split push, that Abathur push, that maybe Asmodan push, maybe even Probius. I mean, this
no, don't. My
No?
heart's been broken too many times, dude. Like, don't bring that up. Don't bring it up.
I was just hoping, and I was just praying that
I
on
hope
Infernal
too.
Shrines, I feel like you would know. Is Infernal Shrines a map where you'd be like, yes, this is where I can play Probius?
I mean, absolutely, because even if Probius isn't focusing on clearing out those shrines, which I would argue, depending on the situation, more than likely you're not focusing on that as Probius. You're working on zoning out the rest of the team from being able to come in and working on those shrines. So putting those warps kind of around the area, around those entrances, and kind of having the turrets support those warps as well. So they're slow trying to get in, they get damage coming in, and then you can blow those warps up on them. And so I feel like that works out a lot better on this map, but it's not like I've done it a million times, Mohammed. It's not like that's the case.
It's not like this is that's your jam. You just sub me in, coach. I got this.
I just Probius needs some love. I love him so much, but he's a little something. Everyone else has gotten a little something, I feel like.
It's loser, isn't it? It's loser of the match, correct?
For what?
For who gets map choice or first pick?
Yes.
Okay, because Gunsling is asking me why we're doing shrines. They lost. They choose. Okay, because that's what I was like, wait, I didn't mess this up, did I?
Yeah, no. So the losing.
Oh no, he's confirming.
team.
He's confirming. He's
Okay.
just like, oh right. And I'm like, oh.
I know, it's all series. There's been no real process to any of this, and now there's suddenly process, and we all have to catch up. So we're just waiting for the rest of Team Revolt to get into this here darn lobby.
Now, the other thing about Infernal Shrines, like, so back to kind of what we were talking about before, between first pick and map pick, and what the team was actually saying about when it comes down to it. So like, they're like, all right, we jam on Infernal Shrines, and we don't care what they first pick, but usually that means they also have a comp in mind. There's something specific they want to play, and if that does fall apart, that really, it's one of those things where like you can put together a draft and it will work really good, or you can put together a draft and the other team figures it out midway through the actual draft phase and they just pick up a counter. You're now stuck for 14-15 minutes on Infernal Shrines with that composition where you can't get your entry, you can't find an in, and that's the real struggle when it comes to map pick and first pick. And I just really hope that that's not the case, and we actually have a versatile draft coming out from this team, and they're going to be going into something a little spicy.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like for Bush League, and specifically, not to like shit on anyone, but we're in the Betty White bracket, and they're down here for a reason, and so I feel like maybe just a combination of those factors means that we'll see something far less meta-oriented and way more just like balls to the wall, like fuck it, let's go. Because again, it's possibly one of these teams' last match in Bush League, so you can't hold back, you know.
Ooh.
What are you oohing?
I'm just saying, ooh, like I'm just thinking, like, do we actually start to get some of those, like, this is the do or die? Do we pull out Lost Vikings? Do we pull out Samuro here?
Do we pull out Shin?
I mean, I'm up for a little bit of pandemonium. Like, does that mean no bans? Yeah, I'm just gonna laugh and respond. Please waste all bands. Yes, like let's just get like all specialist team. Like let's see Zagaras. Let's see all the great picks. Also see things that aren't really too popular, like Vala, even though she's kind of made quite the reprise, honestly. I'm actually like thinking about it. Like, are there any assassins that you'd actually like to see them pick up on the lower end spectrum? Because like I'm trying to think like.
Give me a Lunara. Give me a Lunara.
Oh, that's a good one.
I feel like she saw that heyday when everyone was like, "Oh, Uther can't deal," and then like entirely fell off. But I feel like it can still be pretty good. All right, teams are ready. Let's get into this shit. Game number 2, Infernal fucking Shrines, the shriniest. Let's get into it. Give me a Lunara, give me death. Also, at the request of Pizza, who wants me to shout out his dad, Papa John. Papa John. I mean, your kid got slaughtered a couple times that match. You might want to, like, step in. This might be child abuse. I don't know. Like, it's not fair to let an 11-year-old kind of play with these grown-ass adults here. So, kind of questioning your parental choices, Papa John. Not going to lie. Oh, I should update the scores. Let's see that real fast.
We are going to be having a Decker Kane band out here. Also, Papa John's like, he's too busy just like driving around Michigan because that's all he actually does.
Excuse me, what?
Yeah, that's where it's from. It's a Michigan chain. He was actually there was like 3 years ago, like one of his like classic cars got stolen. It was like big news in the area.
Oh wow. That's
yeah, like he had like this whole thing for like the Dream Cruise or something like that. Yeah, it's I don't know, it's crazy.
I mean, fuck that guy in general, because he doesn't believe in, like, paying his employees or some shit, but, like...
He also doesn't make good pizza, I'm sorry.
No, he doesn't. Listen, I'm from fucking Connecticut. I know what good pizza's supposed to be, and fuck all y'all from New York. You have decent pizza on every corner, and I will absolutely give you that. You have just, like, the saturation of edible pizza, and it's usually pretty good. But Connecticut perfected it? Fuck all y'all. I'll fight you on this.
We just used old car pans to make pizzas, and that's why we have like the Detroit style deep dish. Like no joke, that's how it started.
It's just a car rim. It's just a car rim used to make pizza.
God, I would kill to have a car rim shaped pizza.
That would be fucking.
But we are gonna get some really boring bands out. No Kerrigan, no Asmodean, and that will be the Deckard and Diablo band out. Oh,
Leviathan, fuck Chicago pizza. Like, straight up, fuck that shit. Don't pull that shit in here, friend. I love you, but your opinion is wrong.
I don't agree with Chicago pizza. It is like it's a bowl of just really overcooked pizza dough and sauce, and it's just too much. It's just not good.
It's a fucking bread bowl, and I want a bread bowl. I want pizza. Alex Straza actually supports on both sides being picked up first here. Alex Straza on the side of Revolt. We got White Man again and the Jaina again. And Jaina, I was talking, who was I talking? Oh, Tyro over at NGS we were casting yesterday. But beforehand we were looking at Jaina skins, and that particular one, we're just like, Jaina going through a goth phase. Like, her dad died, she's sad, she's wearing all black. Like, it's pretty emo.
Jaina sad more.
Fuck!
That's really good.
Good job.
Okay.
All right. Oh, Genji Muradin. You got the Stormbolt. You have the follow-up damage.
It's a really great engage team. It also has the dragon for the shrine phase when you actually need to fight over the points, and Genji can dive in, and Muradin can dive in and sustain. But at this point, I would be looking to ban out something in the solo lane department or maybe the mage department for the clear into the shrines. Like
Rainer ban.
I guess. I was actually thinking.
I mean, I've seen actually very recently a lot of Hyperion used on maps like Infernal Shrines, just because you have it kind of in the same way that you have Starfall from Tyrande, just the constant rain of damage coming out on places where you know the rest of the team is going to be, and so it kind of causes them to scramble a little bit and allows you to possibly get a pick here and there.
Oh.
Mephisto, though!
That's... I'm so 50-50 on Mephisto. Like, we had this conversation actually on the Bush League podcast, if I'm not mistaken, about actually Mephisto being like a win more hero. He's very on the winning foot team, and he's not the best on backline or like a back foot, you know, like when you're running away or you need to kind of turtle up. He doesn't really have a lot of great value into that department. So we'll see how that works out for them. But they do have that lockdown with the ETC, and gonna find out. But there's the hammer that you were so pumped about.
There's the hammer. I will also mention with the hammer, though, which I think happened with a different Bush League game. So you have a little bit of anti-synerginess when you have someone like a Nubarak who wants to dive in. You have Genji who wants to follow it up. Hammer can't follow up that quickly if she's already in siege mode. And so there's a little bit of, like, yikes there kind of coming out at me. But if you get a good stun, allow Hammer to kind of get that setup time, possibly it works, but you have to put her in a position where she's a little bit vulnerable to kind of have that delay, you know?
I'm wondering if it's one of those things where it's just like, all right, we're gonna play around the hammer, and then when anyone tries to dive in and get any engage onto that hammer, that's when we'll utilize our, dwarf toss in. We have the swift strike, and we have burrow in from a Nubrex. So I think maybe it's maybe that a different kind of playstyle where it's almost like baiting the hammer consistently. It's that's the end of the fishing hook where everyone else is going to be around to kind of pounce on whatever is pulled in by the hammer.
But you get swapped. You get Artanis to swap the hammer.
That's true.
And then Hammer's like, yikes, I'm too close here, ladies and gentlemen. And then Hammer starts to panic.
Unless you just literally save your nanosteel or your self cleanse. You save it
for that instant.
It's risky, but it could work. I mean, I've seen Hedgie do it like consistently, so we'll see.
Hedgie's a god though, and this is Bush League here, so I don't know the difference. No fucking offense. Hey, I love you all. This has been so much fucking fun. All right, getting into game number 2, Team Revolt trying to get the 2-0 here. We are going to have Pizza on that Genji spare, Shadow going to be on Xtra, Gunslinger on the Anubarak, NRG on the Sergeant Hammer, and Vex Zero on the Murden.
And on the right, we're going to have the members of Extra Cheese trying to pull this game back. We're going to have Rosny on the white main. We're going to be having Yelly on the Mephisto, Old Backpack on that ETC, Drunken Donut on the Jaina once more, and Sulfate also once again on the Artanis. Let's get into this as Yelly has stepped into a couple members here, but has the Shaded Mephisto just to kind of get right back out of there without a problem. That is going to be a mechanic that I'm interested to cast here, because I don't think I've gotten to cast many Mephisto games.
Yeah, he doesn't really come up that often in a lot of games, but it's always fun to be like, hey guys, I'm here, and just when you think you have the kill, usually you don't. And then you're pulled back to where you were, and you're like, well, that's a bummer.
We are going to be having Mephisto rotating down into the mid lane. I was like, why are we in top with this many? But no, we are going to be going into the 4-member rotation between mid and bottom. ETC is going to be needing to get those proc rock stacks, as well as Jaina with the Fingers of Frost. And we have Gunslinger anchoring a little aggressive, and Yelly might be in a bad spot.
Yeah, I mean, Mephisto doesn't have Escape. He could try to use Shades of Mephisto somewhere else, but just from practice, I can tell you that using that as an escape to quote-unquote distract the team and hope they go somewhere else, they're just waiting. They're waiting for you. It's like when you ice block yourself and the team just surrounds you and you're like, well, this was a poor choice. It's kind of like that.
Wait. When you ice block, the team doesn't just instantly walk away because they're like, well, this is a lost kill? Because
I hate to tell you this, but now what happens. Now what happens.
I hate to tell you this, but Bahamut, you've been using it wrong. Gunslinger is taking a bit of damage here, as well as NRG, but they go ahead and boost her right out just fine.
And Drunken Donut still taking a bit of damage on that Jaina, goes and gets the globe. Seeing a bit more rotation, I feel like, out of Jaina this time around, just trying to complete that quest a little bit faster so that she doesn't have mana problems when we start to look at these shrines. The Hammer's kind of left by herself in the mid while the rest of Extra Cheese coming down bot. It's a 3v4. They can kind of push that out. Hammer slowly making her rotation downward, which is kind of... She's got the great clear, but it takes a while to get there. And she is sitting up, and I feel like if Old Backpack wanted to power slide in and the rest of the team didn't go to the siege camp, that would have been a very hurt Hammer. I don't know about dead, but very hurt and scared and running away like a sad puppy.
That tank would have been very, very destroyed. And I think you said it right. Like, maybe not a dead person, but a lot of value there. They do pick up the camp, which we'll be pushing in a minute this time. They have the Shrine activating the next 20 seconds here. They are going to rotate into top. If Vex Zero delays out Sulfate from leaving, this could be big for them. They go ahead and start to chase the kill. Gunslinger will get the burrow in. Beats are rotating in as well. They have a lot of the power slide though. So much is going on to Vex Zero. The first kill of the game is going to be going over to the members of Extra Cheese. Cap Peach.
Yeah, they take out the Murd, and the Dragon Queen is not even on the Shrine, just trying to get the defense here for the rest of the members of Team Revolt. Old Backpack taking a lot of damage. Uses the power side to escape. Drunken Donut gets the heal from Whitemane. The swap onto Pizza, uses the protect, uses the Swift Strike to get out of there though. Pizza saying, this is not for delivery, it's DiGiorno. I don't fucking know why I said that.
It's too good. We are going to be having our Tannis get the swap out onto Hammer. That will be the Unstoppable use as well. So much damage going to be dumped onto the single point. And Anubrak will have the burrow out as well, but they're getting so low on the side of Team Revolt. They need to find an entry, or at least cycle out, get healed up, and then try and find an entrance back into this. It is still under 10 skeletal defenders for both teams.
Pizza's a bit low on mana, as is Spare Shadow, so there's only so much damage in heals that can come out. Laning Nova there, getting a bit of damage. Vex Zero in the middle of a lot, but it's murdered, so just taking a bit of damage, being able to walk away for the time being. Skeletal Defenders still pretty even, and also not that many on either team, as they've been mostly focused on skirmishing, and Vex Zero going to fall here. Pizza looking possibly to be the next target. Drunken Donut going in, but being able to get the escape from now. Pizza still taking a bit of damage, but Drunken Donut not being able to confirm the kill.
They're not able to step up onto this Hammer just yet. Sulfate has to hearth back. Whitemane had to at one point, already has come back. We have Sitsa on the left hearthing as well. If they can move on to energy, that'll be huge. And actually the boost in the wrong direction for a hot second, almost hitting that third wave of Blizzard, but they managed to push them off. That will be 14-9 in Skeletal Defenders, and that slowly will be accumulated by the members of Extra Cheese as Hammer continues to siege in this lane and just continue to soak up that experience. But sevens are on the precipice for the members of Extra Cheese as they dive on energy. There is no boost at this time. They start to move forward with the Shade of Mephisto, and that is ETC confirming the third kill of the game, also pushing them into level 7.
Very beautiful power slide and follow-up from Yelly there. Old Backpack and Mephisto teaming up to kill down that Hammer. Now getting the lead on Skeletal Defenders like you mentioned, so this should be first Punisher going over to the side of Extra Cheese as the rest of the members of Team Revolt trying to make up experience elsewhere, knowing that they don't have Selin. Alex Straza running in the mid. Siege Camp being grabbed by Vex Zero, trying to preemptively set up some distractions for Extra Cheese going into this push that they now have with this Mortar Punisher.
First John Cena is going to be picked up here, and that is going to be the Gunslinger, actually pulling the bait over the wall a little bit low here. Not actually going to be... I was thinking they would actually use the burrow at the exact last moment, too, to not take the damage, but they're bringing this down.
Oh, that's such a good strat! I've never thought of that.
If you get the burrow out at the last second, you don't actually take the damage. Also, like most Joannas, you'll see they'll pop their indestructible right at the last second, so they don't get stunned out either.
Man, you're so good at this game. You should be playing.
I just watch it too much.
Alright, so that Punisher died pretty quickly. The clear coming in quick for Revolt. But the macro pressure focus is now on. Camps being grabbed by Cheese, while Team Revolt trying to push along with their camp in the mid lane a bit. Sulfate working a bit on that bottom camp as well. And right now the name of the game is who can get to 10 faster. I feel like you got a significant level lead on the side of Extra Cheese. They know they can grab those camps, get that extra push, and maybe use them to scout out potential picks on the side of Team Revolt, get a couple deaths, and slowly you start to creep your way to that precious level 10. So I'm curious to see what they do with that little bit of advantage that they have right now.
The way that ETC's been run throughout this game, it's leading me to believe it's a mosh pit, but in the past, oh my god, they chased them right after this camp. This is the aggression coming out. Oh my god, the swap going to be going on to Spare Shadow. As they stand still for a bit, that is also going to be the Dragon Form pop as well. There's so much damage going out. They pick up the Alex Straza kill. That's huge for the members of Extra Cheese.
And the Dragon Queen was popped. That is a cooldown that has a very long time to come back, so they were able to bait it out, get the kill still. And now have this camp steal as well. They're gonna hit level 10 very soon. Get Gunslinger taking a bit of damage, has the armor there to survive a little bit more. But what great play from Extra Cheese. Just, you could say it's pretty Gouda if you ask me.
I can't even top that cheese.
They're smothering their opponents with
We've been a very food-forward stream thus far. We are going to be able to burrow in coming up from the Anubrak. Gunslinger trying to find an engage here. That is going to be the, not the clone. Oh my god, off the top of my head. Water Elemental coming out from the Jaina. So I was trying to remember.
I was trying to think of what you were talking about, and I was like,
Damage things. Heroes of the Storm.
Vex taking a bit of damage, though. Speaking of damage, Sulfate and Vex.
Sulfate getting pushed back out of the lane. And the one thing I was curious if it was going to be an actual stage dive ETC, if it was going to be the Mosh. And actually, they have the dive on to Vex, and I don't think they're going to live through this, even though they popped the Avatar.
Avatar is popped. Are the body blocks there is the question. ETC with the bump and confirms the kill onto Muradin. They should be able to actually take that last tower down before rotating down to the shrine, which I would really much like to see, and they do. They're also going to try to get the fort beforehand, which is pretty ballsy, pretty, what do the kids call it? That's big dick energy. I think that's what they say. I don't know. I'm an old woman at this point. I don't understand these phrases.
Extra cheese pulling out the big dick moves over here. Just more or less just being the big cheese on campus.
Hey!
We're going to be having... so the one thing I was thinking is that there were just too many interrupts for the Mosh. Not going to be happening. But we also do have the Consume Soul, which I really, really like. And I'm excited to see how that's going to be working out some of these later, these low health pool team fights. Because that seems to be what's happening a lot. But that is going to be the Cocoon coming out, going to be burned right away, Cat Peach.
Gunslinger and Fam get caught in the mosh pit! Muradin dwarf tossed into it as well. The Cleanse of Flame coming out, trying to heal and damage. Drunken Donut is going to fall here. Sulfate trying to get a swap to get her to survive, but doesn't. Pizza taking a bit of damage though. Dragon Queen popped, but it's way far away from the shrine right now. And Spare Shadow just kind of spinning around, trying to get the damage there. Gus back. Vex Zero going to get away. Old Backpack with the slide and the bump. Getting very low at Nubarak with the dive.
They're going to be chasing this a little bit further. Artanis is trying to find a swap in as well. Pizza is getting low, but they actually pick up the Punisher in their favor. Vex Zero is in a bad spot once again. They have the Avatar, but this team wants the blood. Yeah, or at least Sulfate does. If
Sulfate has a swap available, which I think he's waiting for, and it just isn't going to show up, sadly, but they chase Muradin away, at least for the time being, so that they're able to push onto this fort with this Punisher here, getting a lot of experience out of the process. They have about a level over their opponents. Anubarak going to fall in the defense, though.
So I'm not gonna lie, the one thing I'm noticing a lot in this game is that the Cocoon target is obviously wait, Yelly, why? You even saw the ping go out and be like, yo, this dude's coming back, like just body this 1 point. The one thing that I wanted to point out though, and I lost my complete train of thought because of just that one kill, and I got really, oh sorry, the what is his W? Lightning Nova?
Yes.
The Lightning Nova being used to kill the Cocoons is a really interesting adaptation, because typically in the past we would see Li Ming's being picked up for that specific burn with the Disintegrate, because it has a phenomenal burn rate onto that Cocoon. But the Lightning Nova has been consistently burning that out as well. So realistically, Mephisto might be, I wouldn't say a hard counter, but really a deny to the Cocoon that we see from a lot of Nubraks. But Capiche, we're going to have a little bit of a brawl over this camp.
Yeah, Extra Cheese trying to scope out the damage coming out already from Revolt. Sulfate trying to find the initiation. Misses the swap onto either Pizza or Spare Shadow. Can't really tell who they were going for there. Yeah. Blizzard going out there, chasing away. The camp was stolen by Extra Cheese, who now have that extra push here, and they have level 13, so Revolt just trying to do their best to defend while not going in too deep. They're staying very within the confines of that hammer circle, trying to make sure that if Extra Cheese coming in, at least the damage is there to follow up.
If Artanis got a swap there into a single hero, that would have been a risky spot for Artanis, but still would have been a dead hero regardless. Drunken Donuts has been dropping the Blizzards right as the swaps come through and really helping those out. I'm just waiting for Consume Souls to get the value that they're wanting. There was a point when Alex Strauss got so low that she cycled out into the backline and they popped Consume Souls during that huge mosh pit, but she ended up popping Cleansing Flame and denied them the damage from the Consumed Souls, it was such a cool last second, like, oh, wait, I'm going to die from this, and just hit the R button. I can still heal up my team while they're in the mosh pit. But at the same time, the members of Xtra Cheese, with a awesome just delay onto this. They're going to wait a little bit longer. The shrine won't pop up for a few, but they are going to give over a lot of the siege value in bottom lane. And Sulfate, maybe they can get a swap onto Hammer through the gate, but I don't know if it's going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen. It'd be really hard to do so, but Sulfate going in, the unstoppable pop swap misses because of that as well. So the push is at least deterred for the time being, but shrine number 3 or 4, I have lost count, ladies and gentlemen, is about to pop. All right.
I think
it's 3 too.
Don't quote me on that.
We're gonna say it's 3. We're just gonna retcon whatever else happened in this game for the time being. That camp pushing though, getting a lot of value on top as a shrine is spawning, and the rest of Revolt just trying to hang out, seeing if they can get a pick and maybe get the advantage on this shrine. But the Consumed Souls does come out, and it's very early. The Maj to follow up. Xtra going to fall. The lightning move of doing so much damage. Hammer going to fall. Vex Zero now on the retreat as well. Yelly trying to get the final kill in and gets the kill on Muradin.
And Shrine still hasn't been picked up, and now they do, and this is an Arcane Punisher. Meanwhile, top lane has reached that Keep front gate. That Shrine is going to be doing a decent amount of work, and maybe taking out the gate, maybe not, but that is still weakening it and helping out the friendly team a ton. Now, with the deaths that they have, they could actually cycle out a member and go for either camp on the left or right-hand side, which would give them a little bit pressure into mid, while this Punisher is going to be moving through the lane, but they're saying, nope, let's get some minions here. Let's get to 16s and potentially have that talent to your advantage. It's going to be really, really difficult to fight into that, especially with an Arcane Punisher along your side as well.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like any clear that Jaina is doing is really just getting that, or setting up for getting that Punisher closer to the Keep Kate sooner. And we already see the defense piling up in the bottom in preparation for that. But the rest of Xtra Cheese going for the siege camp. Initially, they're able to clear it out very quickly and going to make the safe rotation, it looks like, to collapse on that bottom fort while that camp also pushes in the mid. So getting double pressure in lanes, forcing Revolt to kind of choose their battles and think about where they want to be defending and what resources they want to commit to defending against this Punisher.
I liked old Backpack's positioning there just to see if they could catch Murda in the rotation through. That would have been a nice pick for them. But Nubrak once again going to take the dive of this. They'll start to burn this thing down, but they take out the sidewall and they start to step forward. They could go for keep. Punisher actually going to be backing off here for a second, and another jump should be available, but it's not going to be the hammer at targets. Probably going to be looking more towards that Genji as they move on to this keep. But the Punisher's so low, I don't know what they can do with this cap. Features a huge swap. Will be going on to energy.
Purification, or the silence coming out from Artan. It's Pizza taking a lot of damage as well. We already have the fall of Anubarak here, and this keep is going fast. Vex Zero trying to get those storm bolts out, trying to stun members, but that water elemental as well, slowing down any of the speed of the members of Revolt, and that was such a great win for Xtra Cheese, getting that catapult pressure building up in bottom. Now that top camp has been pushing in favor of Revolt as well, but you're only looking at fort pressure, so even though it's experience in the bank, it's going to get them 16, it's still not getting them in the clear of this entire game just yet. That, especially with that bottom camp being grabbed from Xtra Cheese, they are just in absolute control of the momentum of this match right now.
I think you said it perfectly right there. It's momentum, and now you can see it here. They're grabbing camps. They're putting more pressure across the lanes. They're not, running up and saying, oh, we're gonna push the front. Well, here I guess they're gonna prove me completely wrong and say, yeah, we're gonna push the fort. But they're just confirming experience they know they can get without realistically putting themselves in a bad spot. And for a second, I had to eat my own words, but no, old Backpack denied them with that knockback, and this will be Artanis clearing at the top, and you see them rotate over the Bruiser camp, and that top lane is going to be the next Punisher, and this is the best Punisher for both teams, honestly. Keep front gate for the members of Xtra Cheese, and then we're going to be having a damaged keep front gate for Team Revolt, but it's fairly even in this top lane pressure. I'm really excited to see who wins this over, because it's 16 talent tier to 16 talent tier. They won't be able to achieve 20s unless they get some sort of crazy wipe right before this.
Yeah, and Extra Cheese choosing to push along with that camp in the top. I was wondering if maybe they would focus trying to push out that bottom lane, seeing as that's where catapult pressure is going to push. So if you can get that really pushed in your favor before the shrine even starts, that's a big anxiety inducer onto your team. But Revolt already anxious about the push coming in with that camp. That keep is now, or that keep wall at least, is down. You still have this camp pushing along with it as well. Hammer staying in the bot, trying to get that experience as well, as they are down a 2-level deficit. But great call to get a little bit of a boost on that potential next Punisher from Extra Cheese.
Having that pressure in that lane and taking out the gate is a big move. And we have one camp left across the map. 20s are really close for the members of Extra Cheese, and this is the fight they know they have to take. They know that they might be on this camp, and this is the kind of, I wouldn't say do or die, but we're kind of getting to that point.
They're towing the line for sure.
Oh, absolutely. As Sulfate is going to be burning down this camp, and I think they just let this go over. No, they're going to be jumping in onto this. Vexeer is going to be going in as well. That is going to be Cleansing Flame. That is going to be the Cocoon out onto the Jane in the backline. That is the Mosh Pit onto one single target. Nubrak does fall here. That will be the camp picked up in favor for the members of Team Revolt, and they step up further with the Avatar as well as the Dragon. And Cat Pete's Drunken Donuts goes down, and Pizza lives.
Pizza barely living there, almost falling to that white mane, but Vex is going to be the next to fall. Spare Shadow getting low. Dragon Queen is Dragon dead and is going to fall, and the rest of Extra Cheese now saying we can clear up. We don't have to worry about the objective right now. They might go core. They have 3 catapults behind them, 3 members down on their side. There's 1 member missing from Extra Cheese, so they just have to be a little bit careful in this engage, and it is a Sergeant Hammer, so there's a lot of damage that can come out for this, but they're going for it, Baja.
They have the potential for it, but this is also core wipe area. 3 seconds on the Anubrak, 20 for the other 2 members. Shielding has fallen. NRG gets swapped here. Power slide through as well. So much damage coming out. They just get the boosters away. That is going to be the silence coming out from the Arcanus, and I think that they have this. Cocoon is available. They could try and Cocoon the main damage dealer, which would be Yelly at this point. That is going to be the Shade of Mephisto coming out, and that is game number 2, Cat Peach. We go to game number 3.
We're hoping game 3 is synonymous with Towers of Doom, but we never know here. But wow, what a great comeback game 2 from Extra Cheese there. I feel like that was it wasn't totally one-sided, but Extra Cheese really just having way more command over that entire matchup, I feel, in this game 2. 13-2 in kills. I mean, that kind of tells you the story there.
That's a big kill deficit between these teams.
Just a little bit. I'm just ever so slightly. But no,
just Jaina only died twice.
Yeah, I mean, it's no big deal. It's just a Jaina. I mean, she probably wants to die anyway with what she's been through. Anyway, I'm asking the teams what they want and everything, and they're like, "This is the tiebreaker," and I almost typed game 4. I'm like, "Wait, no." Fast forwarding through the future into a possible game 4. Yes, we will figure out. So Team Revolt, being the losing team, there now gets to pick if they want first pick or map pick for game 3.
Gunslinger has confirmed that they do want the first pick, and so I'm currently getting a message out to Yelly to find out what map they would like to go to for game 3. And I just got dots. Towers, right?
I would absolutely love Towers of Doom. Brax's holdout was banned, so that's absolutely not happening. I suppose I also wouldn't mind Tomb of Spider Queen is banned out. Volskaya would be okay. Dragonshire might be fun for a last 2 Ra.
Oh, Dragonshire wouldn't be bad at all, actually. I think it's they're actually saying, I said Towers, right? And they said Towers it is. Hold on, let me just double check with them that they actually want it.
But you don't want to force anyone maps they don't want. But also, we kind of want to nudge you in one direction.
So yeah, I'm gonna let them know that they can pick something else, but we'll find out. He'll confirm in a minute, but that was an awesome game. Genji getting that dive damage, but I really think that there wasn't enough play around Sergeant Hammer. I think you caught that in draft way earlier.
Yeah, I mean, Hammer was always back there and eventually setting up after a fight broke out, but not really supplying too much to the fights themselves, and Anubarak and Genji really going in deep, trying to make stuff happen that Hammer just can't catch up to, and so there's a bit of wonkiness with that entire thing, whatever you might call it, synergy, whatever the fucking kids call it. The kids with their yeets and their dick energy and whatever you have. I don't understand the youth these days.
I like how it's dick energy. Yeah.
Let's be fair. A lot of people, it's not even big dick energy. They just be like, dick energy.
It's just dick energy.
This is what I have. This is what we're working with. Like,
Have you seen what map it is, by the way?
Is it actually? It's actually Towers of Doom. Yes.
Yep. We're actually going to be going to Towers of Doom. I was just like, Towers of Doom, and he's actually... Funny thing is, actually, that's what they were thinking.
Really?
So in your chat, just the kids are just quoting you.
Quote it, ladies and gentlemen. Well, like when Mike stepped down, when they announced that he was stepping down from Blizzard, and everyone was like, well, it allows for the new guard to come in. And it was like, yeah, the kids with their dabs and their yeets and everything are totally gonna just infiltrate the existence of Blizzard. And
could you imagine just leaving Blizzard where it is currently, which is, I would say, a very high note, and then just being like, I'm good. Like, I've done my service, and now you can literally just sit back and you don't have to worry about any of this. I don't know, like,
you only have to worry about someone tanking it into the ground, which, I mean, at least for true. Steve Jobs, he died, so he didn't have to see, like, what's happened. So there's, like, a little bit of that. He's probably rolling in his fucking grave, let's be absolutely honest.
Just,
but,
I can't think of anything that would spin. Like, I don't know why, but I went to, like, a roller. I was like, that's not right at all.
Steve Jobs and I had the same birthday, by the way. Not same year. I'm not as old as he was, but...
I was just about to be like, you know what? For every year for your birthday, you need to start wearing those tiny little glasses and like black turtlenecks.
Yeah, that's all I do when I turn...
Were there any hats that I need to give?
Hats look good. Yelly and Gunslinger are
cool.
the captains.
All right, and then Team 1, yep, and Team 2 chose the map. Yeah,
we're ready.
Let me know when we're ready.
I'm ready. Teams are ready. They said so.
I'm going.
And I'm
pushing the button.
Push the button. Cheese already. Colby, yes. Colby cheese is okay. Like, it's...
Okay, you know what?
Oddly rubbery to me. Like, I'm not a huge fan.
I found a Colby that I like, and I agree with you on that. Absolutely. It's like spicy though. It's got like triple spice in it. So it's like, because Colby is like 3 cheese, and so there's also 3 spice in it. It's pretty good. But I mean, if you want some good cheese, you can get some Cotsworth, you can get some Dubliner, you can get some I know
about cheese. Like, I am a cheese.
My dad and I talk about it on the phone.
I love it so much. Cheese is usually, anytime I travel anywhere and there's like a local cheese plate, I'm like, tell me about your cheeses, please, because I absolutely need to know. It's very important to my identity.
BlizzCon's gonna be a blast. I'm gonna eat all the cheese. It's gonna be horrible. By the way, if you're watching the stream and you're going to BlizzCon, we both will be there.
And so come say hi to us. Yeah, please.
And that is soon. 3 weeks and a panic attack away.
I actually owe around well, so who is it? Team Fuck technically won my beer bets, but none of them are going, and so there's 5 beers now up for grabs. So if you see me at BlizzCon, cash in for one of Team Fuck's beers for drafting Probius.
I'm just gonna cash in for 5 of Team Fuck's beers. No, but I mean, this is, we're actually gonna be getting a Mephisto band. That
says something.
That says a lot about Yelly's Mephisto in that last game.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I wonder if this means that that Revolt is considering another Anubarak, and just seeing how much that cocoon was whittled down by the Lightning Nova is making them say it's worth bidding out. They're gonna pick up the Rainer first, though.
First pick, Jimmy right click. Hyperion has a good zoning. There is great play with the Banshee, but Li Ming right into Dahaka. To have the resets from Li Ming as well as the global positioning from Dahaka, that is a great play. And they need to pair something with this Rainer super early, I think.
Yeah, I wonder what that's going to be. I love Sevio just talking about cheese in chat, though. Like, Gouda, A+. Have you ever had a smoked Gouda? Smoked Gouda is just, like, so fucking A+.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it is. That is something that is
Yo,
always in my parents'
white
house.
Stilton with apricot. So,
I've never had that.
I have only ever found it at Trader Joe's. It is fantastic. You usually don't find white Stilton. Blue Stilton is the very popular variety of Stilton coming from England. But if you ever find white Stilton, it's very light. It's very delicious. Pairs well with fruit.
There was one that my dad actually brought when he visited last that actually had like truffles within it, and it was like a white cheese, and it wasn't like truffles aren't my jam, but like that on a burger was like, oh my god, it was out of this world.
Oh, that was so good. Anyway, Deckard Johanna Bands.
This is Bush League.
This is Bush League. I haven't eaten dinner and I'm really hungry, and I'm probably just gonna eat like a buttload of Baby Bells after this, cause why not?
I'm gonna have second dinner. But we have an
Arthas?
Arthas. I think Arthas has some great lockdown, but an Ana to go with it. Stimdrone Ana?
Well, here's the question.
Li Ming?
Who's that last pickup?
Malthael?
Is the syndrome for the last pickup? And who is it?
that's
Because you have the
I
Arthas
feel like
Arthas Dahaka frontline. You need a little bit more damage. I don't think you have dive here. Is it a Greymane? Maybe Stimdrone Greymane who can follow up on either rooted or tongued targets. We're gonna have the Urel Tyrande. So again, we have the Lunar Flare, we have the Thrall Root, and we have the Shadow Charge.
Ana speed boost on Ana's OP. That's like literally what I said, but we actually get a Falstead pickup, and based on who just picked up that player... Wait, hold up. Wait, what? Wait, what? What is... Do you see who's playing on the side of Extra Cheese on what roles? Sorry, it's like everyone just roll... No, both teams just literally roll swap.
They're just saying, fuck it.
Except for like a couple people. Well, except for like Spare Shadow, just Spare Shadow and Drunken Donuts, like they've kind of stayed true-ish, but oh, this is about to be an awesome game 3, Cat Peach. I'm super, super pumped about this.
Yeah, this is really interesting. Kind of like looking around on these. Oh my goodness, because game 1 pizza was on
Hanzo, then Genji.
Yeah.
And now playing Diablo. And then we had Vex, who was playing solo lane, that's on a Thrall, but we have Gunslinger, who was the main tank on Urel, which is the solo. What?
Oh.
And Yelly playing support now?
Yeah,
Yelly
right? That's what's most interesting to me. Yelly just being able to be the damage dealer so far in this matchup, deciding to swap over. But let's get into it. I didn't update the goddamn score again. I will do that in a second, though. Game number 3 here in the Betty White bracket. In the blue, we're going to have Gunslinger up on that Urel. We're going to have Pizza on the Diablo. We're going to have Spare Shadow on the Tyrande, Energy on the Rainer, and Vex Zero will be on the Thrall.
And on the right-hand side, we are going to be having the members of Extra Cheese trying to even out this, trying to actually just take the entire series, with Rossini going to be on the Dahaka, Sulfate is going to be on the Li Ming, Old Backpack on that Arthas, Drunken Donut on the Falstead, and Yelly going to be on the Ana. Let's get into this. Game number 3 on Towers of Doom, Cat Peach. You couldn't have asked for better than that.
I know, this is... I mean, our personal favorite for, like, game ending, who's the winner here. And there's a lot to prove here. I think Urel is going to prove very hard for that Dahaka to trade into, just, in my opinion, unless Dahaka decides to give up a bit of the lane and fight closer to the side of Extra Cheese's towers and kind of just freeze the lane there. But Dahaka doesn't go so well into her. So I'm very interested to see how that goes overall, but the rotation's coming out from both teams. Drunken Donut trying to keep an eye on these 3 members of Revolt in mid, while the rotation coming up from the rest of the team, trying to get that soak in.
I'm curious as to the rotations with Drunken Donut, because Falstead, with the current build that they're looking at with the Hammer Gains? Gathering Storm. is going to be it's most beneficial when they're getting the rotations and actually getting hammers throughout the rotations and continue to get those stacks. And the other thing that I was kind of losing my breath there is Sulfate getting a combo out onto Vex there and dealing about half their health, and you can still see it now.
Yeah, pretty chunked out there, so gonna have to be careful for that going into this matchup. First Zapper Camp being started on the side of Team Revolt, however, and the follow-up being started by Xtra Cheese. So trying to get in that early Zapper pressure into that bottom lane before these 3 altars spawn. Dahaka, though, pushing your realm pretty far back in the top lane as well, which I'm actually pretty surprised about. So Rossini being able to really execute on Dahaka, know when to bait out some of those abilities from Yrel, and just kind of call it even in that lane.
One of the big things too in playing Yrel is you can see that she, when she's channeling, it's a very telegraphed thing. So if you can save your tongue for that specific moment every single time, you deny that ability that's been channeled. So it kind of helps out to deny Yrel. In the past, it's been notable that, Dahaka doesn't win into Yrel compositions, but we'll see as this game progresses. But bottom lane is where the jams are, and bop, is it fun.
It is the funnest. The most fun ever had in a bot lane, I think. You have these zappers, you got so many team members from both sides trying to defend, trying to push. The shrines, though, now activating these 3 altars. I think it's a 2-1 advantage for Revolt here. What do you think?
I think Revolt takes the bottom. If they keep the members down there like they are currently, this is Revolt's. Oh, but no, they're gonna change it up. They're gonna play that tactic that nobody plays. They're gonna go to the right side, and Rossini and just Drunken Donuts will be the ones who have to defend this. But with Pizza taking their time here, I don't know if they're gonna be able to get the interrupt. Oh, the Shadow Charge will be there, Cat Peach.
Yeah, Drunken Donut get
bottom left, but they gotta rotate hard.
Yeah, Gunslinger coming in, bottom grab, so Xtra Cheese coming up top, Li Ming trying to join this fight, and Drunken Donut just hovering in that bush, trying not to show. Spare Shadow starting the channel. The poke is there from Falstad. Arthas going in, trying to get the slows and the damage. Gunslinger with the knockback, though, making some space, and the Goomba onto Arthas. It's going to cause Arthas to move back, and that is going to leave Rossini in a bit of a pickle, and Dahaka goes down.
Don't worry, team. I got Burrow. Nobody's gonna hit me after I unburrow. They'll just forget that I'm here. Now, unfortunately, it buys a couple seconds, but it's not the seconds they need, and that will be the first kill of the game going over to the members of Team Revolt. And we have Thrall going into this top lane. I almost said Stark for some reason. That is an old character that Stark used to play, but we are going to be getting the tongue drag onto Vex here for just a couple seconds. No big pick yet, but bottom lane is going to be held over by a couple members of Team Revolt while they actually really focus on top.
I mean, Team Revolt has kind of the spread for experience, so they have about a quarter level ahead of Xtra Cheese here, so they might be able to hit 7 and maybe force an engagement somewhat soon. Xtra Cheese focusing on that top camp, though, for the time being, trying to get those zappers to assist with that push in top. 7's here. I've watched a lot of Towers of Doom games, Cat Peach, and I don't know what they're doing. Like, this is the opposite of what you typically see teams do. And so now I'm just like, the game plan here is, I don't know, but they actually have the rotation onto a couple of these members down here. Zapper Camp not stolen away. It actually gets leashed. They pick up just the one off of it, but Falstad flies bottom. Like, this is, like, typically what we see, and what's throwing me off so hard is that we typically see teams really prioritize that bottom, really prioritize the Zapper Camps, the left and right, but here, I don't know, Cat Peach. Yeah, it's very interesting. Let's call it an adaptation. Let's not say it's incorrect, but they are adapting to the scenario. They're trying to throw in a wrench to the plans of Team Revolt, trying to keep them on their toes. But there's one altar here now, so we have to see who defends better. We have 7s on both sides. Pizza going in, getting the flip onto Yelly. Has a little bit of negative armor there, and the Lunar Flare onto Ana as well. She's going to have to stay back, or Yelly's going to need Life Alert.
They have the flank from Rossini with the brush talk, but it doesn't actually yield them anything big in the situation, as Spare Shadow will start the channel for a hot second, but no pickup on it just yet. Vex Zero will be poked out by Sulfate, and with Li Ming at full mana, this is going to be a nice amount of time that they have to poke out into them as the old backpack is getting forced into the backline. They actually go ahead and start to try and get the kill onto them. That will confirm it with the Righteous Hammer, and without their Arthas, they need to get out of here as Sulfate is being targeted, but with the blink in it, with the teleport and everything, they are just fine.
Oh, but they end up eating that Lunar Flare as well. The tongue on the, or the charge from Pizza puts them, the sleep follow-up, Pizza falls, but so does Li Ming there. The channel ends up finally going to the side of Team Revolt, but what a back and forth. And I think a lot of chat is mentioning too, we have 2 globals on the side of Revolt. And it just doesn't seem like they're using those globals to have one stick around in a lane for a little bit longer, try to get a little bit of an experience lead. And they're all focusing these objectives, so they're kind of just using them for speed tactics in order to get faster engages. NRG taking a lot, Rainer going to fall. A very good rotation coming out from old backpack.
That's what they need there, but once again, bottom lane, open and exposed. And this is the thing, like, if you're gonna be doing rotations, if you have 2 globals, leave 1 top, 1 mid, put 3 members in bottom and push hard. But that doesn't seem to be the case, or at least maybe they're not able to handle those situations because they currently have 2 members going into a thrall by themselves, and they have to force down the old backpack to come and try and help and maybe get the kill as Tyranda's coming down for the heals.
Yeah, old backpack misses the root. The orb does hit on Vex, though. Takes a bit of damage, but going back into Yelly, gets the wolf, gets the root, but no follow-up there. Just a bit of a taunt to keep her from engaging any further here. 2 altars spawning in the top next time around. We'll have to see how long Dahaka wants to stay in that top lane, but it looks like Rossini already going to start rotating, making eyes on maybe catching that Yrel off guard as she rotates to the left side here. Very, very ballsy coming out from Xtra Cheese.
Cat Peach. It's a bush party. Oh no, they scattered. Actually, no, they still rotate through with Gunslinger and.
You don't kill Gunslinger though.
They're absolutely, that is true. You don't kill Yrel. Spare Shadow will be getting the collection on the left-hand side. Apocalypse does come out as well. They are burning a couple of these members low on the left-hand side, but Absorption does come out. They are going to be getting the Gust out as well, but Li Ming first to fall in this engagement. Old backpack is the next one to go, and Drunken Donut's a little bit low. They have the sleep to stall this out. Hammering going in the wrong direction as they're trying to just make their way out of here. Ross maybe also going down Cat Peach, and this is looking really dire.
NRG was just sitting in the back that whole fight and shooting through the wall, shooting over obstacles, just getting that pepper in, making sure that they were far enough away, but still able to get those kills in as well. Tyrande trying to get the channel here. Look at that beautiful skin. It's so gorgeous. What is that animation? She just kind of like waves the arrow at the altar, or the bow rather.
Just, you know,
and says like,
if you you have to put your weapon just really close to it to channel it. Apparently, that is everything. That's how it works in the Nexus. You don't have to touch anything. You just put your weapon near it. But Spare Shadow actually potentially getting caught out here. The rest of the team coming in as well. Old Backpack is making some aggression, but Tyrande falls in the backline to the Dahaka, who finds some entrance here, and they're chasing energy, gets rooted, but they don't have any sort of follow-up. But that is a nice little response, but it's still 36-20 on the side of Xtra Cheese.
Xtra Cheese, they got this, don't worry. It's only 20. 60 never held anyone back in terms of core health on this map. This is Towers of Doom. They can do whatever they want, and they can come into this camp and steal it from their opponents if they so choose, god dang it.
And I mean, that's one of the best parts about actually playing Towers of Doom, is that there is no real big, there's always a big comeback mechanic, and there's no big, like, oh, you can just rush core at the end. Camp gonna be picked up in favor of 4 members of Team Revolt. They get the lockdown into 2 members. Sulfate so low here, going to be nano boosted, but that isn't enough, and Vex 0 walking out just fine.
Sulfate so barely getting out of there. That camp loss is pretty devastating if you're Xtra Cheese, because you also end up losing your Ana in that entire engagement. And now there's a shrine spawning. Ana will be back before that starts, but 13 is going to hit for your opponent, so trying to defend that altar is a bit of a risk if you're in that position.
They're actually playing this aggressive side here, and they will go ahead and take the Sapper Camp in their favor as well. Dahaka will burrow for a second. They're all going to be getting some decent damage. That will be the Tongue Drag. Doesn't get the kill, and Diablo sleeps for a while zoning. but that is going to also be an altar while Spare Shadow picks that up for the friendly team, and I think they might be able to zone this.
Li Ming with the poke gets the orb on Spare Shadow. Rosina trying to go in, but there's really nothing Tahakan can do without threatening his life, so just going to focus on cleaning up the zappers, and that is another altar that goes in favor of Team Revolt here, sitting at 36 and 16. So as we get further, you know, a 20 difference is harsh. Add 4 to that potentially with this boss call, and the that window of comeback starts to very much narrow, Bahamut.
And they kind of know this. Pizza kind of zoning here, not letting even Arthas through the bush. They pick up the boss. That is going to be a lot of damage onto Arthas, and they pick up the kill. The follow-up onto Dahaku. Pops Essence, pops the Burrow for a second. Maybe gonna get the Tongue Drag and for a kill, but Gunslinger will be just fine, and they make the disengage on the side of Extra Cheese, taking 4 more core health down, and that's 36 to 12. This is getting to that real risky area as we have a triple altar face starting up here, and Cat Peach, if they win all 3 of these, that's GG's, and that will be Team Revolt moving on.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Tyranda's Starfall has been having a lot of impact in these fights, so while that's on cooldown, I would like to see Extra Cheese maybe be a little bit more aggressive, but as soon as that comes out, I just feel like the members of Extra Cheese melt because they keep fighting in that. They get stunned, they get kept around in it, and you have the peppering coming out from Raynor, and it all just adds up, and suddenly you have multiple members said. Pizza going in onto Drunken Donut, though. Pizza stuck between a rock and a hard place. Sun's going out. NRG getting really low, ends up falling, as does Tyrande, and Pizza is the next target. Resets on the Diablo, and that is the pick that Extra Cheese needed. They needed those 3. Diablo's back, but he is a soulless boy.
They got a hard move to top left, so they deny Gunslinger. They also need to put one onto this camp, which is going to be Yelly, with the help of Drunken Donut, because that is going to be poke coming out from Vex Zero. The sleep does go out. Drunken Donut will zone this away. That is going to be Rossini getting the isolation, the contagion onto Gunslinger as they step too far forward. Arthas confirms the right side. The rest of the team moves down to this, and this is Towers of Doom, Cat Peach. This is why I love this, and I'm sure you love it just as much, because we just had a game go from 36 to 12 to 24 to 12, and we just took this game down to we thirded this game in kind of the direness of it. I am absolutely loving the play between these 2 teams as we, they're going to be coming along in that 13 to 16 area. This is really where both teams spike, and I could not get more excited about this.
Yeah, and I mean, both teams really even, so I feel like whoever gives, or rather, whoever ends up, honestly, possibly feeding in the next fight is just going to give that 16 to the opponent, so both these teams are going to have to be so careful, and especially dodging those lunar flares is so important, because I feel like if Tyrande can land those, it just spells doom for whoever is at the center of them.
They're only sitting at 11 out of the 20 stacks necessary for that as well, so they don't even have the full benefit from that stacking level 4 talent. But we are going to be seeing a push into this bottom lane. Sapper camps did get cleaned up as well, so it's mostly just kind of a threat, but 15 and however many fractional points you want to put on it for both teams, this game is getting to the real even spot. Like, if I actually look at the numbers here, we're 48,700 to 48,600. Like, it's a close game, and they're making this hard rotation to Dahaka, and I don't think they find him in time to get the angles they're looking for a kill. But Pizza and team, they move on to this camp.
Yeah, they're able to get the camp, get that pressure that's going to be pushing top, and someone's going to have to respond to that mid and bottom altar. So you either have a global, clear that as fast as possible and rotate down, or you have the global commit to the altars from the get-go. And Extra Cheese just waiting around this portal, waiting for someone to rotate down. Gunslinger, NRG are the first in line. Arthas going out. Orb damage is there. The knockback as well. The Starfall, though, that's what's falling, and Sulfate going to be the first to fall here.
Oh my god, Rusty is going to be falling as well. That's going to be the Gus coming out from Drinking Donuts. Oh, Backpack turns around to get the Frost. The Howling Blast. Might have been actually fine if they just made the whole disengage. But I do want to point out that at one point I was looking over at Twitch chat, and Fringe Average was just like, I think Falstead took the wrong heroic here. And I'm like, while everyone has been kind of grouping up, and you would have gotten buttloads of value from the
Hinterland's Blast.
Hinterland's Blast. Yes, I said it. I got the last one. Woo! But I mean, the resets from Hinterland Blast, they would be strong and everything, but like Gust has had such good disengage value for them, Cat Peach.
Yeah, it really has. It's just been like a lot of in the heat moments. We're seeing though taking a lot of damage. Has the movement with burrow talent that's picked up here to get a little bit of that escape. Has that heal from SS in the process. So we saw a lot of those burrows coming out just for a second to heal up a bit and then move on. So now Rosini can more carefully escape, but it's not something we often see picked up at that talent tier. So very interesting coming out from Rosini there.
I'm just looking through talents. It's actually same thing with Falstead. Going for the Giant Killer at level 13. I mean, yes, there is the Diablo and the Urel, but the cooldown reduction on your trait, like that actually helps your 16 talent as well, so you can throw out more hammers more often. It's little adaptations. I'm curious because typically you see Giant Killer in the pairing with the Seasoned Marksman, because then you're doing auto attack damage, and that's percentage based now rather than magic damage that's percentage based. But either way, that is going to be bottom fort confirmed, but they take away that boss end condition in that top lane, and they take this game to a 20-4 game.
But here's the problem, those bottom zappers, there's two still pushing, so if they get those in, the core... The Gust saves for a little bit because that would have put the core at 2 health for extra cheese. So the damage coming out onto zappers, trying to keep them from channeling over. And so far the defense is good. Old backpack kind of fronting there. Silence goes out onto Pizza. The retreat is there. Core damage save and some dancing. Or no, that's a Hearth coming out from Li Ming, who tried to Hearth and died from...
I'm assuming a Sentinel from the Tyrande, as Spare Shadow is going to be trying for this. Rossini is going to get the interrupt. The Burrow Claws will be coming out. That is going to be a dead dinosaur, and it will be the end of the game. Spare Shadow picks it up, and that is going to be game number 3. GG, well played.
Team Revolt moving on to the finals of the Betty White bracket, seeing who is the most gentle old woman team here in Bush League. Taking a look at those stats, though, Gunslinger really showing up. Providing a lot of those shields, getting that siege in 13-6. So again, a bit more dominant in terms of the team fight from Team Revolt. But during just the balance of that entire game, you wouldn't have necessarily assumed that the kills went so far in that favor. But especially toward the end, where it looked like Extra Cheese was trying to make a lot happen to catch up in core experience, that's really where a lot of it happened.
I'm just sorry, like all I could think about was this joke. You said Betty White bracket, and I was like, I kind of wish that the games were all kind of flipped around, at least for the game 1, game 2, so that way we could have made Where's the Beef jokes all game 2, which we also failed at making all of game 2. Womp.
Womp, womp.
Well, no, I gotta say, Capeach, these matches were phenomenal, and Towers of Doom to end the best of 3 series, and the way that they did too, they really put up a phenomenal fight in the set of Extra.
Yeah, for sure. GG's to Extra Cheese. We enjoyed having you in Bush League, but it's time to get the fuck out and let the grown-ups kind of go through the bracket. So Team Revolt going to end up going against League of Ordinary Gentlemen in the finals for Betty White here in the next few days. So that should be pretty exciting. But holy shit, ladies and gentlemen, that is that. And I didn't shout out any of these fucking bit cheers that happened. So Tower Baron, Sandhot, Super Dave, Loxley, holy shit, there's so many of you. Spoil Sack, keep drinking Baja Vault. This is the new drinking game. You have to drink while I call these out.
Yeah, that was my game plan.
Goku, Leviathan, Fringe, and again, Spoil Sack, thank you so much for all those bit cheers. We hope that we did these games justice. It's been a fucking blast. I sadly think that this is my last Bush League cast of the season. I'm going to be at a wedding, or I'm coming back from a wedding the day of the finals.
It's going to happen.
It's the end. It's the fucking end. It's gonna happen. This lad on my side is going to be taking over, I'm pretty sure. So you get to have his divine voice and divine beard coming in.
And divine drunkenness too.
Always divine drunkenness. All right, boys and girls, thanks so much. Actually, who are we passing the stream over to? Let's find out.
Viper is live, or Vandy is live, or Kyberries is live, or Heroes of Fitness.
There's so many. Alex Dids is also live. I'm gonna send to Alex.
Oh,
it's been a bit.
Get it.
Get that boy. He's a good boy. He's a great boy. If you don't know him, you should totally say hi to him at BlizzCon. But anyway, that's it for us. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for hanging out. It's been a blast, Bahamut. Thanks again, and thanks for checking out Bush League, motherfuckers. See you next time.